Okay guys, in the last tutorial I showed you how to create a button, just a button itself, nothing else, just button itself. What I'm gonna show you today is how to add this button to the panel, and also creating a few other objects, for example JLabel, JTextField and things like that, and also the concept of adding and basically making the objects visible onto the panel. So okay, so first, if we wanted to add this to the panel, what we should do is create a panel, an instance of a panel, JPanel. Let's call this panel new JPanel. Okay, so we created an instance of the JPanel at this point. We called it panel. This is, like I said, a reference to the new object. So every time you call the panel, it's referring to the new object that we have created at this point. Okay, so we have instantiated or created an objects at this point. We also need to add this object. So we need to add the panel to the JFrame this time. So we say this dot add panel. This adds the panel. The panel is added to the JFrame. Think of the this as the frame. So we added the panel to the frame. Okay, because we added the panel to the frame, we want to add the button to the panel this time. So we say, instead of directly adding the button to the frame, we add the button to the panel this time. So if I comment this out and then say panel dot add btn, so we added the btn to the panel. I'll get rid of the previous code. Okay, so you can see that the panel is added to the frame first and the button is added to the panel. So if I run this, you can see that the button is added to the panel this time. It's not the button itself, but also the panel. So you might wonder why I show these simple stuff. You can see it's not too many lines of code and it doesn't do too much. But I want you to understand the concept first. It's the concept that's important, because once you understand the concept, the rest becomes easy. So if I asked you guys to add a label into this panel, the process would be exactly the same. You create an instance of the label, JLabel, and then add it to the panel. So let's do that. So we say JLabel. At this point we are creating an object or an instance. So we say LBL1, we call the reference LBL1. We are creating new JLabel. The label also should say something. So at this point inside the JLabel constructor, we put this is a label. Okay, so we have created the object at this point. We need to add this object to the panel. Make sure you don't forget this, because this is if you forget that, for example, let's say if you just create the object itself but not add it to the panel, you can see that there is no label showing on this panel. So don't forget to add the label to the panel. So we say this dot add LBL1. Okay, at this point we've added the label to the panel. If we run it, it should show on the panel. Yeah, you can see that the label is showing on the panel. The process is the same. This is what I wanted you guys to understand. The process is exactly the same. No matter what you want to add onto the panel, it's the same thing. This is the process. What you need to do, you create an object and then add that object to the panel. That's it. If you wanted to create let's say for example a text field, you say JTextField. JTextField txt box 1. Just give it a name, it can be any name, JTextField. Okay, at the parameter we put the size of the text box. Okay, we created the object here. What do you think we should do now? Okay, obviously we add it to the panel, so we say txt box 1 txt b1. Okay, if we run it, you can see that the text box is showing. The same process is for any object. You add an object, you create an object and add it to the panel. Okay guys, this might look simple for you, but it's really important. This is the concept of how you can do other stuff, add other objects to the panel. In the next tutorial I'm gonna show you how to rearrange or arrange the setout, basically the layout. Let's say if I wanted the label to be in the center and I wanted the text field to be at the bottom of the panel, how would you do that? That is to do with the the layout. There are different layouts in JSwing, and for example there is grid bag layout, grid layout, flow layout, new flow layout, box layout, group layout. So many different layouts that does the job. Basically it sets out the layout and rearranges the objects into the panel or the frame. I'll show you that in the next tutorial, but for now, thank you for watching and make sure you subscribe.